You know this shot. The water in the glass, shivering, something heavy is walking towards you, and the film wants you scared. Good instinct. Almost everything in this park can kill you. What the movies will not tell you is how fast or how often they are lying about the animal doing it. So you are in the park. We are putting a clock on every creature that wants you dead and ranking them from you might walk out of this to you were gone before the sound reached you. Then we check the film against the actual fossils. Yes, the flyers and the sea monster are not dinosaurs. They still want you dead, so they are on the list. And the one monster that looks the most fake on screen is the one they barely had to invent. Level 1. Climb. The little ones. The little ones. They come out of the long grass in a loose crowd, knee-height, chirping, and on screen, that crowd takes down a grown man by sheer numbers. The kill clock here is slow. Minutes, not seconds. Keep your feet, keep moving, and you live. Because in the record, there is no swarm. The real Compsognathus was about 1¼ meters long and maybe 3 kilograms, most of that a whippy tail. And the one thing we know for certain is its last meal. A single small lizard swallowed nearly whole. 2 skeletons, 2 lonely lizard dinners, and not one shred of evidence these animals ever ganged up on anything bigger than a gecko. The films even lifted the swarm from the wrong dinosaur. Verdict: overhyped. The most survivable thing on the island. Rank: the bottom. Level 2. The spitter. It fans a frill, rattles like a snake, and blinds a man in the rain before it eats him. The frill, the venom, the hiss. That is a fast, memorable kill. It is also almost entirely made up. So here's the part worth getting exactly right, because 2 different people built this animal. The venom comes from Michael Crichton's 1990 novel. The neck frill was added by the film 3 years later. Neither one is anywhere in the bones. The real Dilophosaurus was a serious early Jurassic predator close to 7 meters long, with no poison and no frill, carrying a pair of thin head crests it is actually named for. Strip the costume and you do not get something safer. You get a much larger animal that kills you the ordinary way. Verdict: the kit is fiction. The threat is real. Rank moves up. Level 3. From above. The aviary opens and the flyers come down for you, talons first, to lift you off your feet and drop you. On screen, the danger is the height. The fall does the work. On the real animals, the abduction is the fiction. Pteranodon was a toothless glider with a wingspan over 7 meters and a body that may have weighed as little as 20 kilograms. Quetzalcoatlus was one of the largest things that ever flew, 10 to 11 meters across the wings, but it weighed 200 to 250 kilograms itself, and its feet were built for walking, not for seizing prey in the air. The best read of an animal that size is a giant that stalked the ground on foot, something like a stork as tall as a giraffe. It would not carry you off, it would corner you. Verdict: the snatch is overhyped. The stalker is very real. Rank: just above the little ones. Quick aside, because the title says dinosaur and fair is fair, the animals that are not hunting you can still end you. A Brachiosaurus does not need to notice you to put a foot through you. A Triceratops, the weight of a truck, does not need teeth. Standing in the wrong place next to something that large is its own way to die. Not predators, still lethal. Now back to the things that mean it. Level 4, the chase. Out in the open now, no kitchen to hide in, and the predator is built to run you down in a straight line. This is the first tier where the clock is genuinely short. If it commits, you are not outrunning it. And this is the tier where the films and the fossils mostly agree, which is worth saying out loud on a channel that spends most of its time calling the movies liars.
Carnotaurus was around 8 meters of lightweight sprinter with one of the most extreme tail-driven running builds we know of, and almost comically tiny arms. Allosaurus was about 8.5 meters long, a real apex of the late Jurassic. The movies put both on screen at roughly the right size, doing roughly the right thing. Verdict: real threat, no notes. Rank climbs.
Level 5, the kitchen. They work the door handle, they split up, they flank you, and the film says they are smart enough to mean it. The kill clock is short and clever. Patient, coordinated, no wasted movement. Now the second big lie, and it is a big one. The real Velociraptor was about 2 meters long with most of that tail, stood maybe half a meter at the hip, and weighed around 15 kilograms. Knee-high, a turkey with worse intentions. And it was feathered. We have the quill knobs on a real forearm found in 2007 to prove it. The human-sized killer in the kitchen is sized and built like a different, larger animal called Deinonychus, about 3.5 meters long, and the biggest movie raptors drift toward Utahraptor, 6 or 7 meters. Even the famous teamwork is shakier in the fossils than on the screen. The scariest animal in the franchise is the one they changed the most. Verdict: the size is fiction. A human-sized cousin would still kill you. Rank: near the top. Level 6, the one the movie crowned. In the third film, it kills a Tyrannosaurus on screen, snaps its neck, and then it will not stop chasing you. The film sells it as the biggest, meanest land predator on the island. On the movie clock, that puts it near the very top. On the real clock, it falls further than anything else on this list. Spinosaurus was genuinely enormous, 14 to 15 meters, longer than the T-Rex. But recent work has pulled it into the water. Dense, heavy bones for ballast, a tall paddle of a tail, crocodile jaws, and cone-shaped teeth made for gripping fish. The current picture is a river animal that hunted things that swim. How aquatic is still a live fight among the people who study it, but a land monster that runs down a T-Rex, it was not. Verdict: terrifying near water, fiction on dry land. Rank: high on the screen, low in reality. Level 7. The king, the footsteps in the water glass from the very start. If this animal reaches you and closes its mouth, the clock is not counting down. It is already at 0. The bite is estimated as high as 35,000 to 57,000 newtons at the back teeth, the hardest bite of any animal that has ever walked on land. And the most famous survival tip in the whole franchise is wrong. It can't see you if you don't move is a line, not biology. The real Tyrannosaurus had eyes facing forward, a wide overlapping field of view, and depth perception better than a hawk's. 12 or 13 meters of animal that sees you perfectly while you stand frozen, congratulating yourself on the trick. Freezing does not hide you, it just holds you still. Verdict: the animal is real, and its rules are honest. The blindness is invented. Rank: almost the top. Level 8, the ones with no answer. Indominus Rex, the distorted thing from the newest films. These sit at the top because they were written to. They have no weakness because someone made sure of it. There is no kill clock to measure here because there is no animal. They never existed. So the reality check changes shape. The honest version of an unbeatable, bigger than T-Rex monster runs straight into physics. Scale a predator up, and its own weight climbs faster than the bone and muscle meant to carry it, which is why there is a ceiling on how large a land hunter can get. The hybrids live above that ceiling. They are franchise monsters, and we will label them as exactly that. Except one, the sea monster from Jurassic World, the thing that swallows a shark like a snack and looks completely invented. That one was real. Mosasaurus was a true late Cretaceous marine reptile, not a dinosaur, and a genuine apex of its ocean. Around 12 meters in the careful modern estimates, maybe 17 meters in the older ones. The film drew it cartoonishly large. It did not have to.
They barely needed to invent the one monster that looks the most fake. That is the top of the ladder, and the only honest place for it. In the water, with no counterplay. So there is the climb. Finished. The animals the movies invented, the hardest, the spitter, the human-sized raptor, the unkillable hybrid, are mostly the lies. The ones that should genuinely scare you are the accurate ones. The feathered killer, the running giants, the real sea reptile that needed less exaggeration than you'd think. The films have good instincts about danger, even when they have bad facts about the animals. If you want the next franchise climbed the same way, subscribe, and I will pick the animal that has been lying to you the longest. Watch your feet.